Good morning. Uh, Happy Easter if that's your thing. Happy Sunday if that's your thing. Passover if that's your thing. Or happy coffee. That's my thing. Oh, it's really hot. Um, how's everybody doing? I've again just woken up because I can't seem to get myself up before 10 o'clock on weekends, which is fine. It's a global pandemic. I think it's fine. Um, how was everyone's week? What's going on? Um, Rise and shine is right. Um, I've been doing lots of coloring again this week. It's really soothing me. Um, Doing good and bad. Yeah, that seems about right. That seems about right. Here in LA, we got. It's evening here, so I did nothing all day. Woo woo. In LA, we got extended to May 15th inside, which is probably good. And it was a piece of information that took a moment to digest. Oh, a lot of cooking and dancing. That sounds lovely. What did you cook, May? Um, we're just sort of taking stock of the fact that this is gonna be at least another month, and trying to. I think, I'm just sort of trying to take it one day at a time. Um, Looking at the entire stretch of time feels a little bit overwhelming. So, you know. Oh, congratulations, Megan. I'm so proud of you. That's so wonderful. Congratulations. And thank you, Jason. That's really kind. I really appreciate that. Um, let's see. Yesterday, uh, over here, a lot of people around. No. Oh, that's too bad. May. Hopefully that'll start to change as soon as folks start taking it a little more seriously. I'm in LA, and folks have generally done a baby goat. Oh, cute. Um, Folks have generally done a good job around here, but I know it's impossible for politics not to come into play for some reason with all of this, and that can make people resistant. All sorts of different things. Social laws hadn't saved since it's so small. Oh, interesting. In Belgium. Huh. Yeah, I wonder if that'll be extended or not. I don't know much about what is happening abroad because I'm trying to limit my news intake, but that's interesting. See what's happening. My province of Canada went into state emergency after 2 cases. Oh, well, that's good. Canada, bless. Um, yeah, I mean, I guess even if your leadership and even if your region isn't taking it seriously, you can take it seriously by sort of following all of the procedures that are suggested and really minimizing how much you you go out and see people, and by wearing masks and spraying things down and all of that stuff. But it's definitely been here in the U.S. a moment of great frustration with national leadership. But leadership in California has done really good. I think it seems like we'll see. Fingers crossed. Um, yeah, the uncertainty I think is really really challenging, right? It's like if we knew for sure, here's the end date. This is what going back to normal is going to look like. Um, I think I think folks would have a lot easier time with it, right? It's that we don't know how long, we don't know what's coming, we don't know what's going to change, and so it makes it not. It's not just like having more time or having time off, right? It's this constant sort of low grade anxiety and um yeah, it makes it really hard to find enjoyment in the slowdown, which, being able to slow down is really a gift, but it's really hard to see it that way when you know that there are, people dying, and we don't know when this is going to end, and leadership is hard to trust. And so I think it's just trying to survive. I mean, it's, putting the practices of recovery, I think, actually into staying sane and as sort of mentally and physically healthy as possible during this time, practicing one day at a time, sometimes one moment at a time. Oh, that's interesting about Australia. Um, yeah, Michelle. Yeah, 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 absolutely. And just find, I guess, then the task is, how do we, how do we take care of ourselves when it feels like the building's on fire? Whether that, and that looks different for everyone, right? Like, for some people that looks like sleeping a lot and playing video games and crying. For other people that looks like gardening or taking up a project. The things you can, I've been enjoying reading the things you can only see when you slow down. Oh, that's nice, that's nice. Yeah, for some people reading, for some people art, for some people throw themselves into their work and go really intense into work, and everyone's got a different way of managing things like this. Hi, New Jersey. Hi, Elizabeth. um, and yeah, I do think it's like it's like practicing recovery in a different way, kind of. It's uncomfortable, and we have to sit in the discomfort. That sounds really hard, Rain. Yeah, yeah, and different. I think different things about our relationship with food are going to come up for everybody, and it's probably going to keep morphing and changing as this goes. I mean, the sense of food scarcity or having a ton of food in your house. Um, I know that for me, like, I'm real stable in my recovery. Um, but I live right next to a grocery store, and so when I crave something, I'm used to being able to walk down the street and go and get it, and now I can't do that. And so that's just a new thing that I haven't had to kind of manage in my recovery. And it's sort of uncovering, like, oh, where is food being used for comfort, or where's food, I don't know. um, so it sounds like, Rain, it sounds like you're doing the right thing by being aware of what's going on and by monitoring it. And, you might just want to put some extra safety measures in place for yourself, like, just a baseline meal plan, or something like that. So you've got your checkpoints that you're checking into, even if it's just like setting a timer 3 times a day, 5 times a day, and making sure that you're giving your body some nourishment at those times. Oh, I missed that message about music. Um, Having health issues. Yeah, it's really hard. Yeah, yeah. It's a hard time. And yeah, if you can, if you have the means, the insurance, whatnot, to continue to see. Oh, that's great, Megan. That's great, and that's really wonderful that your brother can hold that for you. I think that's beautiful. Um, using your support system as accountability is a really beautiful thing. I know that I've done that during times of crisis in my life. I've scheduled intuitively and trying to eat intuitively, but sometimes it's just hard to swallow. Yeah, Rain, like, that makes sense. I mean, it's you know, it's a traumatic time. We're like in the trauma, and our bodies are going to react in ways that are really scary, and really weird. That makes me think, like, oh, maybe ice cream would be easy, or, like, if you have a blender to make a smoothie or a soup or something. But just feeling that out, and trying to be curious about it rather than judging it too much. It might be good to stock up on, some ensures or some like protein shakes or things like that that you can kind of down when you feel like, oh boy, I really can't put solid food into my mouth. Um, but I know I need these nutrients for my brain and my health to function. Um, um, oh, good. Shoot, I missed a couple of messages. Um, but um, yeah, finding creative ways to, even if like your job during the day, if your one job is to make sure you get all your nutrients, I mean that's a great job. Daily schedule, very happy. Oh, that's good. Um, yeah, putting a schedule in place. Um, oh yeah, telehealth. Yeah, that's great. Um, I know a lot of doctors and a lot of therapists have switched to online sessions, and that can be a really awesome resource. And I know there are also support groups that are meeting online too. Um, I know, was it Renfrew that I read is doing one? Um, so that, that maybe that can be built into your schedule as well. So you're going to get support, on this day of the week or whatnot. Um, it is certainly tricky. That sounds really hard, Jason. I really feel for folks with OCD right now. I can't imagine how triggering this time is. It seems really, really hard. Malone. That's really hard. That's really hard. Do you have access to folks in your home country that you can reach out to and use as support systems? That sounds really hard and really, really scary. And I really feel for that situation that you're in. It sounds really hard. Um, I, I had a train of thought and then I lost it. What was it? Well, it's gone. It's gone. Oh, I had a thought. Someone had said something about a playlist earlier. I'm like, maybe if you're finding it difficult to like put food down right now, I know that there's a practice of like mindful eating that happens in recovery, but maybe, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a nutritionist. Nothing. I'm just an actor and a writer. Um, but I'm like, oh, it might be interesting to try, putting your portions on your plate, what you need, and then going into another room and like listening to music you like, or putting on a TV show or a soothing movie, or calling a friend and maybe taking the focus off the food, which is maybe a little bit counterintuitive to some stages of recovery, but that might be an interesting way of trying to get through those moments if it's really hard to put nutrients into your body. Um, I don't know, just an idea. And have just another sip of coffee. It sounds really hard. Yeah, being in a foreign country right now sounds really, really scary. Um, yeah. 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 Depression is a very real thing. It's a very real thing. Um, it's hard and it's really understandable all the time, and especially right now. Um, Things like making sure you're getting vitamin D, like trying to just like put your arms and your face up to the sun for like 10 minutes a day can sometimes help. Um, Changing your physical state, like taking a shower or moving to a different room or something like that, can sometimes help. But sometimes it's also okay to just say, this is where I'm at today, and I'm just gonna feel shitty, and that's okay too. We're in a global crisis, and it's really shitty. Uh, but I know it does not feel good to feel bad and depressed, and it's really hard. I'm finding that for me, like every to 6 days, I hit a big low and cry a lot, or like feel like I don't want to get out of bed. Um, I always seem to function on a cycle. So that's the cycle I seem to be in at present. Um, but I know, other folks might go through that cycle during one day, or might just be in the sadness and the grief part of the struggle, part of the cycle. Um, I'm putting the crying crisis. That's funny. That's great. Crying is a beautiful thing, and a really healthy release. I quite frankly wish I could cry more. I'm not great at crying. I don't know why. Probably years of repressing my feelings. Hold on, I'm trying to get this to sit for a second so I can. Extra exam season. Oh wow, that's really hard. Sorry, I'm gonna get myself off of this angle in 1 second, because wow, it's really something. Um, there we go. Um, well, you never know. I mean, you might be right in terms of not wanting to reach out to that teacher to sort of give them space to be in their own process. But you also never know. Perhaps they might have the emotional resources available to support you right now. Um, Perhaps there's oh, excuse me, a way of asking that seems okay. But if that's what your gut is saying, that it's not appropriate, then you might be right. But I wonder if you can replace that or substitute that relationship with a support group that you could find online, or a friend or a family member, because it sounds like that person, that teacher was a really good support for you. Thanks for you guys for all helping each other via the text thread in here, because I sometimes there are no messages, and then all of a sudden I'll get like 6 at once and they'll start disappearing, so sometimes it's hard for me to see um, what is being written. Ah, okay. Um, what else is on folks' minds? Um, we watched the new Emma last night, and I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun, and really like visually pleasing. Lots of pinks. So, okay, let's see here. I like the trumpet practice. That's nice. Um, the message before that disappeared almost immediately. I think there might be like a little bit of a delay on my phone. Oh, congratulations, Emma. Yeah, I get affected by weather, definitely. When it's rainy, I have a much harder time than when it's sunny. And I live in Southern California, so that's helpful because it generally tends to be sunny. But the first week of all of this, um, it was just like raining all the time, so that was really hard. Yeah, Emma, that's so amazing. That is no small feat, especially during a time like this. That is something to really be proud of. Um, oh, that's great, Jared. That's awesome. I like that suggestion. I've definitely been avoiding like any sort of deep clean in the apartment. But maybe I can reframe it that way and feel a little better about it. Um, yeah, I've heard like some friends of mine are like, my apartment has never been cleaner and organized, and I'm gonna repaint, and I'm like, I don't want to pick anything up, and I don't, you know. Oh, that's great. Oh, this what is this thread? It's like little lights. Um, it looks really weird now, but they all sort of like light up, so then the back of the headboard of the bed lights up. But I always forget they're there, and I never turn them on. They're like, yeah, the little fairy lights that you can kind of like bend, and they can hold different shapes. Um, That's a lot to deal with, Jamie. That's an awful lot to deal with. Are you close to having a summer vacation? Turn them on. I could turn them on. Let's see. I haven't turned them on in a long time. Are they plugged in? Let me see. Oh, there they go. Ta ta ta. Now it looks like it looks really funny in this camera. It's cuter in person. It looks funny like this. It looks like I don't know what it looks like. But there they are. I wonder if I get closer if you can see. Yeah, no, it looks a lot cuter in person, but whatever. There's no need to feel guilty for finding the upside to the situation. I think it's very real to appreciate a slowdown and to appreciate having time not to be quite so much on a schedule. Excuse me. Yeah, there are some days I appreciate it as well because I don't have to drive to work. You know, these people I was like, oh, that's right. Yeah, there is nothing wrong with finding a silver lining. There is nothing wrong with appreciating a slowdown. I do think something that this time is teaching us is that we're expected to do too much and it's unsustainable and it's not healthy and that our economy and our lives actually don't need it. Aw, well, I'm glad to hear that. I enjoy them as well. A bunch of friends and I held a virtual concert yesterday for... Oh, that's so fun, Amanda. That's so great. Yeah, how have you been using technology to connect? Let's see. My doctor and some yeah, exactly. Oh, hi, Germany. We've been playing. I probably talked. Let's see. I'm still working in my community. 50 minutes. Yeah, that's great. That's a great silver lining. And it's totally okay and good to find the silver linings, in fact. A big silver lining I'm having is that I am on multiple Marco Polo threads and text chains with friends from high school and college, and I'm seeing their faces way more than I used to, and it's really great. Oh, that's awesome. So I think if you can't, no need to find the silver lining if you're not there. But if you are there, hey, why not, you know? A silver lining I'm feeling is I love sleep. God, I could sleep like 11 hours every night, and that would just be the best. And I can sleep in kind of as late as I want without feeling guilty. And that's the silver lining I'm finding. Although, you know, I still struggle because it's still ingrained. Productivity is like ingrained in my brain, so I have a little bit of guilt around it, but you know, I'm able to kind of... Oh, live stream meditations, that's really cool. Do you have any recommendations, Jason? I'm doing some like... I'm sorry, keeping up on other... Can you tell me when Binge is coming back? There is a update on the HLG YouTube channel, which is what you're watching this on right now, that it goes through, that we'll talk you through everything that's sort of been happening on that front. So if you go out to the HLG YouTube, you'll see, I think it's called State of the Union or something like that. That'll give the full update. All right, yeah, for some introverts are really quite enjoying this. I know my friend's husband is like living his best life right now, like homemaking bread and just like spending time. He just loves a simple life, and he's quite enjoying this time right now. So hey, great for him. It doesn't mean he doesn't have compassion for, you know, what's happening in the world, and it does mean that he's complying with all of the, you know, the health the health codes and whatnot. So that's all great. Um, oh, very cool, Jason. Excuse me for yawning. That sounds really awesome. Yeah, I bet there are all sorts of meditations you can find. Um, I think that's great. I think that's lovely. Um, what have I been doing? I think I mentioned this last time. Non-toxic Tumblr. Oh, cool. Yeah, that's great because I don't have a feeling that I'm missing something. Yeah, there is something sort of comforting about having less um, demand on our time and our person. And I do have to say I am enjoying that. Um, I'm an extrovert, but I have a tendency to over schedule, over commit, overdo. And it's kind of nice to not be able to do that as much. I think it's a good sort of, oh, what does it feel like to under schedule? It feels kind of nice. So that's been an interesting lesson for me. Um, and yeah, fear of not getting out. Yeah, yeah. Mhm. Mhm. I'm trying to go on at least one short walk a day. We've got a dog here, so that definitely helps. I think I've gotten outside most days. Um, it's if you wear your mask and you stay away from people and you stay away from public areas, I think it's I think it's good to just see nature a little bit, and that's really tough, the obsessive calorie counting. If anyone has book recommendations, we talked last week about a book. I mean, there's the intuitive eating, there is the Christy Harrison's book. What is that called? Oh, what up? Is that Yuri? What up, Baranovsky? Um, Yeah, not being able to perform or rehearse. It is very sad. It's a sad feeling. It's a lot of grieving. Actually, yesterday was supposed to be closing night of the Winter's Tale, which was the play I was doing, and I felt quite sad about it. I miss my community, and I miss the physical release I get from performing. I realized, oh, this is a real thing that my body is used to having. Um, I'm lucky to be working on a couple of projects sort of remotely right now that have kind of taken that place. Not fully, though, because there's nothing like being. Um, oh, play readings over Zoom with friends. That's a great idea. Why was it I in that? Yeah, excuse me. Excuse me. You're in. I did miss the movie night. I was watching Emma. Oh shoot, was it Adventures in Babysitting? Now I'm mad. Um, no, I did miss last night's movie night, but that's okay because we can't all do everything, you know. We can't all do everything. Um, I really liked Emma. Oh yeah, Dave, my boyfriend's watching Dave and is really liking it. He's funny. Um, yeah, let's do some show recommendations. We just watched On Becoming a God in Central Florida with Kirsten Dunst, who is one of my favorite actresses of all time. I think she is absolutely so funny and just so great. And it's a really weird show in the best way. And also, Danny Jacobs, who plays Paul in Binge, is in it. He's in like 2 or 3 episodes. He's fabulous. So that's a recommendation I have. It's on Showtime, but they're doing like a free month or something like that right now. So I highly recommend that. It is very fun, very delightful. It's about, well, it's set in like the early 90s or something, so the clothing is incredible. Oh, when they see us. Yeah. Feel good. Yeah. I've been a little bit resistant to watching things that are super heavy, but maybe I'll hit that point of quarantine at some point. Screaming. Yeah, I think I think work if you can find a way to communicate with a therapist and a nutritionist remotely, because there's a certain combination, right, of making sure that you're getting the nutrition that you need on a consistent basis. Yes, Schitt's Creek. And then there's like cognitive behavioral therapy that can help you reroute your thoughts, and just being very gentle with yourself in the process, because you've got a lot of time where you've ingrained these thought patterns into your head, right? And it's like every time you think a thought, you're making the path deeper. But what's really exciting about the brain is that it's super flexible and super malleable, and so you can stop going on this path and go on a different path. And it takes a little time to pave that new path, but you have to be really diligent about it and also gentle with yourself. So I highly recommend trying to find some virtual support right now. But if we could get a list of book recommendations, that would be really great. What is her name? The Eight Keys for Eating Disorder Recovery is a great one, and that's not even the correct. That's not even the correct title. What is it called? It's Eight Keys of something, and it's by a big heavy hitter in the eating disorder world. Project Heal um, is the one who introduced me to this book. Gosh, who wrote it? She's a massive heavy hitter. Oh, Jamila Jamil. She's a great resource right now. Um, uh, 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 uh. Oh yeah, yeah. Gemstones, The Righteous Gemstones. It's excellent. Um, HBO. Oh, Eating in the Light of the Moon. I've never read that book, but I like the title. Um, and Intuitive Eating, Christy Harrison's book. Um, oh yeah, Insatiable. I've seen parts of. I need to go back and watch it more. Um, what other books are useful? There's a lot of them. Um, there's one called like the Fuck It Diet, which I think is supposed to be really good. Um, so um, but for me, I know that I really just needed a very solid schedule where I knew, like, I had a meal plan and I did it at the same time every day, and I was accountable and I just had to do it, and that was the first step to any of it, right? Like, um, I what is Insatiable on? Like, I just needed to get my brain in check, and because it wasn't getting the proper nutrients that it needed in order to run. It's like you can't really drive a car with no gas in it, or with you put like water or like chocolate milk in your gas tank, and your car is going to go like bleh. So that's kind of what I was doing to my body. Um, oh, Insatiable, you mean like the comedy? Um, yeah, I need to go back and watch it. And so you need to just be putting that nice good gas in your tank, at least 5 times a day to really um, get that hi to toddler, to get that brain cooking, to get that brain going. And then once you're feeding that brain, then you can start to do the big emotional work and looking at unlocking um, past trauma, and um, looking at the fact that these behaviors that we develop them because they worked for us for a little while, right? We're not crazy. They worked. They did something for us. But we no longer need to use them. And so it's exploring, like, what were they doing for us? What for me, it was like, what did I not want to feel? What did I want to check out of, or like leave my body for? Um, why what was that like, and how can I slowly but surely learn to sit through discomfort to not check out of my life, to stay present, and to feel feelings that I hadn't felt in like a decade because I was using my eating disorder. And that's delicate work that isn't linear. And one day you might feel like, yeah, I got this, and the next day it's like, I don't know, I feel like a baby. I don't understand any of it. Which is why for me having the support of a recovery team was so important. Um, Oh, great. Yeah. Yeah. Look at those book titles. Look at those book titles. And there also may be some free support groups online that you could join as well, like finding moments of check in um, in your week, moments where you're giving a gift to yourself of being in process with your recovery. um, it's a gift. It's a gift to get that you can give to yourself. um, you know, you could write yourself a motivational note and put it up on your mirror or block out your mirror. If you have a scale, throw that thing away. Um, it's a particularly hard time because there's so little that we can control in this global pandemic, that focusing on shape and food is something that we can kind of control. So, how do we acknowledge that and then not engage with it as much? Um, how do we, yeah, that makes sense. Chicken wings. I love that name. Um, I was looking, so if you guys don't follow Glennon Doyle on Instagram, or if you haven't read any of her books, I recommend it. She, struggled with bulimia for like 16 years or something. Um, she was talking about t- how she doesn't trust her body still to this day, and that's like the key ingredient that's missing. It's like to love something means to trust it. And I found that to be very true with my relationship with my body. Is I know in my brain, and I know for other people, that our bodies will take care of that ourselves, and our bodies want to be at a key weight, and that's healthy for us, and that our bodies are incredibly intuitive machines that are designed to keep us going. But sometimes in the moment it can be hard to trust that. Um, but we have to learn to trust these incredible machines that we're in. I also think like trying to reframe your body as something that is working for you rather than something that belongs to you is really good. Glennon Doyle. She's like a Super Soul Sunday gal. She's really brilliant, and she's really um, offers a lot of gorgeous insights on recovery and addiction and all sorts of things. Um, yeah, it is like grieving. It is definitely. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. There's definitely grief and loss and letting go. Um, but there's also really beautiful, like phoenix rising from the ashes, right? Because you are different than you were when you started using these behaviors, and you've learned more, and you've experienced more of life, and you have more tools and more insights and awareness, and you don't need your eating disorder to survive anymore. You don't. You did at one point. It was doing something for you. That's what I said. Like, we're not crazy. We don't do these behaviors because they don't work. We developed them because they were helping us in some way, but we've outgrown them, and they've turned on us, and they've started to attack us, right? And they've started to take our life away from us, and our brain away from us, and our sanity away from us. Yeah, she's married to Abby Wambach, who's a professional soccer player, right? I'm not great with sports, but yes. And they're hey, dot T, use it. If it works, use it. Absolutely. I love you too, Agnes. Um, but yeah, Glennon does a check-in like every morning. She does a little thing, and I've been watching it and crying and just really enjoying. Because it's just nice to feel heard. I don't know. She's just really, she's great. She offers a lot. So I recommend her. And if you've got any other recommendations, put them in on that feed. Um, because we can use all the support we need right now and always, really. Um, yeah. Yeah. For me, 7-ish years into my recovery, I still don't love cooking. Oh, yeah. Cost benefit. Yeah. Yeah. The stream will be up after. I don't know how the comments work. You might have to scroll through because it's a little different. But you know what? After I end the stream, if you guys go back into the YouTube video and comment on the feed with your book recommendations, that would be really, really awesome. Um, that would be great. We also have a list. If you go to bingetheseries.com, there is a resource page that has a bunch of stuff on there that is really useful. And maybe I'll do a little call to action this week for some more resources for folks because that one hasn't been updated in a while. Um, yes. I was saying something, but now I don't even remember what it was. I don't know. Um, hmm. Well, it was gonna be brilliant. I don't know what it was. I'm gonna sip one more little sip of coffee. I've been just sort of like thinking about, I would love to go get a massage or go get my nails done or go just like walk around a Target and like touch clothes. Just like these weird things that I guess I always knew were comforting things that I did and like treats I used to give myself, but now I'm like really aware. Like, it would just be so nice to go like walk around a overcrowded mall and just hear kids screaming, and get knocked into by somebody. So all of the binge updates, they're on a video in HLG's feed called State of the Union. It's yeah, a quarantine bucket list. I don't know why, but I keep calling it a quarantine. I don't know what that's about. And so now I'm always like, is it quarantine or quarantine? Quarantine bucket list. Yeah, I think that's great. Um, yeah, there's something fun. I just want to kind of like touch things. I just want to touch things. Yeah. Yeah. I just, I like to, I'm just thinking about it's Sunday. Oh, I'd like to go to a farmer's market. Oh, yeah, bookstore. Walk aimlessly around, touch the books. Why do I want to touch that? I just want to touch things. Um, yeah, or like go um, bulimia and work. Yeah, yeah. Could could be chicken wings. That's funny. Yeah, the mall smell. The mall smell. Yeah. Um, I think, like, inherent in your question with balancing bulimia and work, I wonder if there's a way to move that thought to recovery and work, and moving out of identifying with bulimia or identifying with the illness and move toward identifying with the process that will, save you and give you your life and your brain back. Because, yeah, I think balancing bulimia in work or anorexia in work or alcoholism in work, it's therein lies the problem, right? It's that it's taking something from you and taking something from your life. Um, it's taking your brain space, it's taking your creative life force, and that's a real shame because those of us who struggle with these things tend to be incredibly smart and dynamic and interesting and creative and incredible. And I get so angry at these illnesses for robbing the world of our spirits. And And if we can reframe to like, how do I practice recovery in work? How do I practice recovery in quarantine? How do I practice recovery in dating? How do I practice recovery in XYZ? I think it can help us remember that we're doing this so that we can get our lives back, and so that we can let our light shine to the world. It's a real disservice to the world to not shine our brightest, right? Um, yeah, I've been thinking about that too, Jason. How this is affecting sex workers. It's gotta be really hard. Yeah, dating and recovery, that's really hard too, you know. Um, it's challenging, but it's also an exciting opportunity. Um, I don't know. My partner right now. Oh, I remember what I was talking about. I was talking about that, like, even 6, 7, 8. I don't know. I lose track of time. Years into recovery, I still kind of avoid cooking. And I think a big part of that is that my eating disorder developed at the time where most people were learning how to cook, and I just like avoided it altogether. And it's just sort of like habituated. Like, I don't cook. Like, that's just like part of the identity I've laid out for myself. But my partner, bye Jamie, it was great to see you. Loves to cook, and now we're sort of like in this place where we have to kind of scrounge with our resources, and like we have to cook. I can't just like walk down to Trader Joe's and grab a like lunch sandwich. Like, I can't do that, so I have to like kind of face that. And I'm like, oh, I thought this was my identity, but this could be like residue eating disorder stuff that I have to kind of like look at and work with. And so I'm trying to frame it as an exciting opportunity um, to to look at food as healing, and look at food as art, and look at, I don't know, how it's a gift to have it, or whatnot. But that's just been an interesting thing that I've learned about myself in this time. It's like, oh, I thought I was just lazy, but I think maybe this might be a little bit of holdover, from a past time. Um, anyway, we should probably wrap up here soonish. Does anyone have any last thoughts or recommendations of books or online resources or online support groups that we can add to the chat? Yeah, 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 yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Love you too. Um, yeah, and if you think of resources later, um, yeah, we'll do it every week. Um, oh, good. I'm glad. It means a lot to me. It does. If you think of resources later, come back. Come back and comment on the video. Um, oh, that's nice. Yeah. Comment on the video so that folks can check out those resources. Um, I find like listening to audiobooks to be a little easier than sitting down and reading, because I get kind of impatient. Yeah, of course, of course. I hope you all have a beautiful Sunday, and hang in there and yeah, let's try our like 5% more. Like, can we practice 5% more? Let's do 5% more self-forgiveness this week. Just 5% more. Just a little bit. Just a little bit more self-compassion. Um, have a beautiful, beautiful Sunday. I might go back to sleep. And sending love and healing and all sorts of great stuff. And we'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Mwah. Oh, I'm live again. How do I do this? How do I click out of this? Oh, here we go. Oh my God. Okay. Bye.